dreams touch the sky. Dribbles fast all day long. In his heart, he's always strong.
Wow. Now this trade was actually a bit unexpected, because it happened literally yesterday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the trade goes as follows. The New York Knicks are sending all-star power forward Julius Randle, as well as Donte DiVincenzo, to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and in exchange are getting all-star center Karl-Anthony Towns, who's being shipped off to the New York Knicks. Now my initial take is, on paper, I like this trade way more for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I like the trade more for the Timberwolves, primarily because Donte DiVincenzo is in the trade package. And DiVincenzo is coming off statistically his best career season last year, averaging 15.5 points per game and shooting 40% from three as one of the New York Knicks' best three-point shooters. And Julius Randle will be healthy this year. And let's not forget, Randle is still an all-star caliber player in the regular season. And I feel like with this two moves to Minnesota, Mike Conley as their starting point guard, Anthony Edwards as their starting shooting guard. They got Jaden McDaniels as the starting small forward, Julius Randle as the starting power forward, and Rudy Gobert as their starting center. Now, initially, I like the starting five is not that much different, but the bench is good for Minnesota. I like Minnesota's bench now a lot more than the Knicks bench. Because off the bench, you got guys like Rob Dillingham, Donte DiVincenzo, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Joe Ingles, reigning Sixth Man of the Year Naz Reid. The Minnesota Timberwolves rotation is good. They got a nice rotation for their team. The thing with the Knicks is, adding in Cat has helped the Knicks figure out center situation. Yes, they lost Isaiah Hartenstein this season. Mitchell Robinson, don't get me wrong, is good defensive center, but it's hard for him to stay healthy. And I kind of don't trust Precious Achiuwa to be a starting center on a championship contender. So going in and getting Cat was a good move. Now, the thing is, Minnesota's biggest problem was that they needed offense. Because their defense is good. They got the reigning defensive player of the year. Jaden McDaniels is a good defensive player. Mike Conley, I don't think he's that bad of a defender. But they need offense to help Ant out on the offensive end. And I think bringing in DiVincenzo could help them a lot on the offensive end, considering that he's an elite shooter, shooting 40% from three last year, averaging 15.5 points per game. So this might be the same thing where the Knicks did good in a trade, but they gave up a key piece that could have helped them. Same thing happened last year, I feel like, when they did trade for OG Anunoby, giving up RJ Barrett. But I feel like with Emmanuel Quickley being in that deal, it hurts them a little bit. Because the Knicks, don't get me wrong, that was a good trade for them. But losing out on Emmanuel Quickley, their bench is a bit weakened now. The Knicks got guys coming off the bench like Mitchell Robinson, Precious Achiuwa, Deuce McBride. Their bench is not looking that good. It's a bit iffy, the Knicks bench. But the starters, with Jalen Brunson, who could become a superstar this year, he's definitely a top 5 point guard. The defensive duo between Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby is good when you have to take into account facing a team like the Celtics, who have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I think those two can be two guys that can guard Tatum and Brown, and their defense is not that bad. Josh Hart is one of the best rebounders for a guard type of player. As a guard, Josh Hart is actually a good rebounder. He makes the hustle plays. He might be the LeBron James of role players, I don't know. But yeah, Josh Hart is still around. He's probably going to start now for the Knicks. And then you look at the rest of the team, the Knicks, they can compete against the Bucks. They can compete against the Sixers. They can compete. They have offensive help now to help Brunson out because Julius Randle does not look good in playoff games. Cat can help on the offensive end. He can help the Knicks, especially on offense. Then you can have Anunoby and Bridges make up for it on defense while still being able to shoot the ball. Because right now, the Knicks have some good three-point spacing with their starting lineup. With Brunson, Anunoby, Bridges, Hart, and Cat. All 5 guys can shoot the ball at a good level. And then you look at the rest of the teams in the East, I don't think the rest of the teams can stop them. It's probably going to be the Knicks and the Celtics this year competing for who wins the East and goes to the finals. And they might be able to give the Celtics a good shot if they're able to stay healthy. I think the one thing that stops the Knicks from winning it all is health. As for Minnesota, let's take into account. Let's see how this team performs, because Julius Randle, he's an all-star caliber player, but does not perform well in the playoffs. And the Timberwolves offense might have got a bit worse by trading Cat, because their defense is good with McDaniels and Gobert, But their offense, I have a bit of questions about because in some games last year, against the Mavs, especially in the Western Conference Finals, Ant had to do most of the work on offense. He did not get the help he needed that much on the offensive end, which ultimately ended up leading to the Mavs winning that series and going on to the finals. So the thing I like the most about this Timberwolves trade is that they at least get Donte DiVincenzo out of the deal. He can help the Minnesota Timberwolves probably feel pretty good this year. And I can see the reason why this trade might be a lose-lose, win-win, win-lose situation. But honestly, on paper, I'm giving it to the Minnesota Timberwolves to win this, that won this trade. I think Minnesota won this trade, and they are still looking good. Both teams are still definitely in contention, but I'm ultimately giving it to the Minnesota Timberwolves to win this trade. Anyways, guys, make sure you guys like and subscribe for more videos.
Or else I will bring back the LeBron James AI voice.
He's a young hero on a mission, with skills that defy all tradition. Caught in the middle of a dangerous game.